Everyone. Welcome to the University of Arizona webinar today, Pandemic Blues and Blame Games, Anti-Asian Rhetoric and the Realities of U.S.-China Antagonism. I'd like to welcome everybody from the University of Arizona community, from the Tucson community, and any other viewers that we may have from farther afield. You're all welcome, and your attendance is greatly appreciated. My name is Albert Welter. I'm the current head of the Department of East Asian Studies at the University of Arizona. The University of Arizona Department of East Asian Studies is sponsoring this event in conjunction with this year's Humanities Festival, an annual event sponsored by the College of the Humanities, whose theme this year is justice. Before launching into our program, allow me to make a few comments regarding how this webinar took shape. We are at a critical juncture in our communities, in our nation, in our world. The issues we are facing are deep and immense, laying bare aspects of our lives that many of us have never experienced until now. It is hard to say which single issue is most important, and individuals will, in any case, choose what is most relevant for them and their lives. The truth is, they are all important and need to be addressed. The anti-Asian rhetoric that has surfaced in our current climate may be overwhelmed by issues facing other races and ethnic groups, issues related to the pandemic, to climate change, to social inequities, to name but the obvious few. We are not here today to compete with these. We're here today to remind ourselves of the issues facing racism in our Asian American, Pacific American communities. We're here to remind ourselves that there are no more important diplomatic relations for the US in the 21st century than those with Asian countries. Currently, China has the second strongest economy in the world, with Japan as number 3. What hovers over souring China-US relations are prospects that are critical for our collective futures. It is easy in times of fear to blame and scapegoat other groups as different from ourselves and potential threats. Let me close my introductory remarks by relating a concrete example that precipitated today's webinar. This summer, as we sheltered against the pandemic, and here in Tucson against the seemingly never-ending heat and the threat of wildfires that we underwent for a while. Under this sheltering and these threats that we faced, a man from the local Tucson community picked up his phone and left an angry, threatening phone call on the message machine of the Secretary of the Department of East Asian Studies. When the police investigated, they found a middle-aged man, apologetic, who had recently lost his job and his health insurance due to the COVID virus. His health insurance also covered the members of his family, 2 of whom were students at the University of Arizona and had recently contracted the COVID virus. While in this state of despair, he watched a local news program that featured East Asian Studies at the University of Arizona. I imagine that, informed by political and media commentary associated the coronavirus with China and the general blame China rhetoric espoused by the same sources, he flew into a rage that landed as a tirade on our department's answering machine. To me, this only accentuated the deep-seated nature of many of the problems that our society currently faces. Pressures on the unemployed and the uninsured, fears about the present and the future, issues about equality and justice. Also, it underscores how connected these issues are. We cannot address them in isolation, but must tackle them in terms of their interconnected nature. Now, I'd like to move to our today's topics. Today's topics are broad-ranging. The 3 featured brief presentations are not deep investigations into the world of academia, so much as an attempt to bring aspects of Asian realities to the forefront. to educate our community about Asia and Asians, to, in a word, unother the other, to add the Asian experience into the realm of our human experience, to see Asians as they are, as our neighbors and our colleagues, both in local communities and the international community. Before I introduce our speakers, I want to thank you again for joining. We will begin with the three presentations. And after the third presentation, you can use the Q&A tab on your Zoom screen to address any questions that you may have. If you'd like to address your questions to a specific speaker, please do so. More general questions aimed at the panel are also welcome. Again, thank you for joining.